Today, we're really digging into a single, incredibly significant week. It's all about the British monarchy, but forget the usual, gossip. Our sources show that what happened in October 2025, well, it was this quiet but pretty brutal move against Prince Andrew.
That's exactly right. We're focusing hard on that period, maybe October 17th to the 23rd, 2025, because that's when the palace basically carried out this symbolic erasure of his public status. And the main event we're looking at is the removal of his Garter banner, that coat of arms, gone from St. George's Chapel.
And this is the bit that honestly just jumped out from the history books. Stripping the Garter banner. That's usually reserved for, high treason. Historically, you only got that treatment if you literally fought against the king or queen. So our mission today is figuring out why Andrew, now, in this era, got hit with what looks like a traitor's punishment.
Yeah, and what's really striking is how fast they acted once the decision was made. Andrew's statement, the one saying he was stepping back, that came out October 17th. But the actual physical act, the banner coming down, happened just 6 days later, October 23rd. It really signals this wasn't just about PR. It felt more like an institutional cleansing, using the crown's oldest, heaviest tools.
Okay, so to really feel the weight of that final act, that banner removal, we probably need a quick recap. How did Andrew become so, toxic by 2025? It wasn't just one thing, was it? It sounds like a total catastrophe, a pileup that made his removal basically unavoidable.
Oh, it was definitely a long road. I mean, most people immediately think of that 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, right?
Yeah.
That interview, gosh, with the denials about Virginia Giuffre and that really strange claim about not being able to sweat. That was kind of the point of no return for his public image. It just made him look completely out of touch. It became a global joke almost.
Right. And that interview really paved the way for the legal storm, didn't it? The lawsuit from Virginia Giuffre accusing him of assault when she was 17 ended with that huge £12 million settlement. And yeah, okay, no admission of guilt in the paperwork, but in the court of public opinion, that was pretty much it. Plus, you can't ignore that really, really bad 2011 email he sent to Jeffrey Epstein, the one saying, "It would seem we are in this together." Oof.
Exactly. And then the immediate trigger, the thing that seems to have forced the palace's hand in October 2025, was Giuffre's memoir, Nobody's Girl. It came out posthumously, of course, after her tragic death early that year. But the book landed just before this final palace move and had these devastating claims, like Andrew saw abusing her as his birthright. Her brother even said Andrew losing his titles felt like a joyous moment for survivors. That just cranked up the pressure immensely.
And all of this intense focus wasn't happening separately from everything else. It dragged all those other nagging issues back into the spotlight, didn't it? The financial stuff, the political links, things like that Royal Lodge situation, the whole peppercorn rent thing. Basically zero rent since 2003, even though the Crown apparently paid out £16 million for repairs. That looks bad.
It looks terrible. And it wasn't just Epstein and Giuffre anymore. Suddenly people were remembering those whispers about ties to an alleged Chinese spy and the questions about his involvement in some questionable pension schemes. For King Charles, for the whole family, it was just piling up. Andrew wasn't just a personal embarrassment anymore. He was attracting constant negative financial and political heat onto the entire institution. They just couldn't afford him anymore.
Which takes us right to October 17th, 2025, that first big public step. Andrew puts out this statement through the palace, framing it like it was his choice after discussions with Charles and William.
And we need to really look at the details there. What did he actually lose right then? Officially, straight away, he lost the right to use his Royal Highness, the HRH, in any official way. And his military roles, his patronages, gone.
But okay, if the goal was total removal, why didn't they go all the way then? Our sources flagged that he technically kept the Duke of York title. That's a huge one. Why leave that?
Well, getting rid of a title like Duke of York is legally messy. It actually needs an act of parliament, and that means dragging a royal family decision into the political arena, which is something the monarchy tries really hard to avoid usually. Plus, and this is key, he's still Prince Andrew by birthright. That's locked in by George V's rules from 1917, the letters patent. So it seems the palace went for the maximum public shaming they could control themselves without starting a parliamentary fight.
Yeah, that framing, stepping back to protect the royal family from distraction, definitely sounds like spin. But the impact was instant, wasn't it? His ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, immediately started dropping the Duchess's title in practice. And the palace website changed his bio, linking it straight to that damning statement, like branding him with a digital scarlet letter, as one source put it.
With the real statement, the one that I think historians will focus on centuries from now, that happened 6 days later, that symbolic execution, the Garter banner coming down, that's when it shifts from just managing a problem to like a deep historical judgment.
We should talk about the location, St. George's Chapel, because that setting is so important. This isn't just any old church basement. This is Windsor Castle. It's where royals get married, where they're buried. It's probably the most sacred ancestral spot for the Windsors.
And the Order of the Garter itself is just monumental. Founded way back in 1348 by Edward III. It's Britain's oldest, most elite order of chivalry. Super exclusive, the monarch, the Prince of Wales, only 24 knight companions plus some royals. And when you get in, your unique banner, your coat of arms, gets hung right there in the chapel choir stalls. It's a huge honor.
Andrew's banner had been up there since 2006. You know, with the lions for England, the Scottish lion, the Irish harp, and the anchor for his Navy time. It was this very visible symbol of his place, his service. And then October 23rd, poof, it's gone.
And how they took it down says a lot, too. Palace sources were quite specific. Removed at the most convenient moment.
Yeah.
No ceremony, no announcement, just quiet erasure. The idea wasn't to make a big public show of the removal itself, but for its absence to be deeply felt by those who understood its meaning.
So why is pulling down a piece of painted silk such a massive historical moment? It's because this kind of thing, garter degradations, almost never happens. We're talking maybe, 40 times in nearly 700 years? It's incredibly rare.
Historically, you had to be the absolute worst of the worst to get this treatment. We mean high treason, or literally fighting against the crown. Andrew is now, symbolically at least, in that very small, very infamous group.
Who else is in that club? Just to give people context, our sources mention Jacobite rebels, right? Their banners ripped down after the Battle of Culloden in 1745. And then, much more recently, actual World War II traitors, like William Joyce, Lord Haw Haw, degraded after he was executed.
Which brings up a really crucial difference here. Andrew is the first royal in centuries, literally centuries, to face this. His crime isn't literal treason. He didn't raise an army against King Charles. His crime was effectively treason against the image of the crown, against its survival. So by using this ultimate symbolic weapon, the palace sent this incredibly powerful message, a hugely symbolic slap, one source called it, basically saying your damage is equivalent to rebellion, you're out.
Wow. That makes it intensely personal, too. Andrew mourned his own parents, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, right there in that chapel. So to have his coat of arms, his legacy marker, physically removed from that space, secretly taken away, that hits way harder than any press release ever could, surely.
Oh, absolutely. So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, what does this deep dive tell us about the monarchy today? It really seems to be about realpolitik. King Charles is pruning hard, as they say, using these ancient, powerful symbols, not just out of, personal anger, but to protect the brand at all costs.
Yeah.
It feels like the institution decided that this visible historical mark of shame was actually necessary for its own future.
And yet, even with this huge symbolic blow, he's still kind of clinging on in some ways, isn't he? Okay, he's out of public life, done. But he's still got that cast iron lease on Royal Lodge. MPs might be howling for eviction, but he's physically still there, on crown property. Even while his brother, the king, and his nephew, Prince William, reportedly want him completely gone, especially from William's future reign.
That's the tension, isn't it? They delivered the maximum symbolic punishment they could easily control, but they stopped short of the legal and political fight needed to, say, force him out of the house or strip the dukedom, maybe hoping he'll just fade away now. It's institutional self-preservation, definitely not about legal justice at this stage.
So it leaves us with this final thought, something for you to chew on. Prince Andrew got hit with a punishment usually saved for traitors. Was he just a necessary sacrifice for a monarchy desperate for a clean image? A scapegoat, maybe? Or did his actions genuinely warrant being symbolically lumped in with rebels and wartime traitors? And given the palace went this far symbolically, should Parliament step in and finish the job? Strip the Duke of York title? Or will the crown just let him live out his days quietly, but forever marked by this historical stain? It's a fascinating look at how powerful symbols remain, even today.